There are many of our people who are thinking more deeply and more broadly, looking at it as it actually is, and are beginning to see it more in the international context and the relation that it has with the African struggle, a human rights struggle, or the struggle for human rights. And as such, we can then take it into the United Nations.
And bring about the freedom of these people by any means necessary.
All right, folks. Once again, my name is Frank, and we bring a greeting from this great organization called the VCC, We Charge Colonialism. So, not to waste your time, today's video is about an article from the latest event that just happened in Wisconsin with Jacob Blake that also led to the protest within our state or within our city. Again, that led to the shooting of some protester that led to death and others were injured. And it's about the response from the chief police or the police chief. And in title it says, Tennessee police chief blamed the protester for their own death, defending vigilante group. So this is not new. This is, by the way, I'm not talking about the article, but I'm just talking about the response from the police chief. It's not a new thing. It's an old thing when it comes to black people in this country. When it comes to the issue of black people in this country. This is how they handle it. So, on Wednesday, 17 years old Carl Rittenhouse, well, he's called Rittenhouse, Rittenhouse. But within this video, we're going to call him Rotten. He's Rotten. Rittenhouse. So, 17 years old Carl Rittenhouse was arrested in Illinois on charges of first-degree murder after allegedly shooting and killing two protesters the night before doing protests in Tennessee, Wisconsin, in response to the shooting of Jacob Blake earlier this week. Now, during the Tennessee Police Department first press conference in response to Blake's shooting and subsequent protests, Chief Daniel McKinnis blamed the unidentified victim in Tuesday night shooting for their own death, saying the violence was the result of the persons involved violating the curfew. Now, I will stop right here. We already get the point. We know how this country rolls. We know how America respond to the issue of African people in this country. We know exactly their thoughts. We know exactly how they come about playing around situation like this to justify themselves, right? So this is not something that is new to us. We already know when something like that happens, we know the immediate response from these people. So now, in this article, Chief Daniel went as far as trying to compare Carl Rittenhouse, the vigilante group, to the police force. Why? Because, let's go back. Because whenever the police shoot a harmless black man, kill an unarmed black man, or do any police, what they call police brutality to a black person, they always make sure to justify that police if that police is a white guy. This is not racism, but we are speaking what is happening. If that police is a white person, they always come out to defend, or the justice system always come out to defend the police. Now, let's get in mind, this is not really like just looking at the police or blaming the police. We are also looking at the court. The person that is sitting in our courtroom are also dangerous or is also dangerous. The people that are in our courtroom are also dangerous and fearful, just as the police on the street. Because the person in our courthouse never, or as we may say, are not willing to give justice to the black man. The same way the police on the street see the black man, it is the same way the court system or the court or the racist judge in our courtroom see the black man on the street. That person in our courtroom, if that person happened to be a policeman on the street, will do the same thing as what the police are doing on the street. So they do their parts in our courtroom. What am I saying here? Chief Daniel went on to say the same way police are on the street protecting property, protecting life, protecting citizen, it is the same way the vigilante were there to protect or to give protection. Do you understand? So who were they giving protection to? So we see what is going on here, right? Now, this is a person that went on to kill, or he killed, and then came back and passed by these police officers with that rifle in his hand. And what they did, they even gave him water. I believe they also gave him food. And telling these vigilante group, thank you for coming out. Thank you. And congratulating him of what he has done. And he passed by them with rifle, with gun, right? Now, this guy killed in another state, but drove away, either his mother drove away to Chicago. And then before this guy could even got arrested, or before he got an arrest, people have to come out to protest again. This is how Black America, or this is how America operates when it comes to Black America, when it comes to Black people in this country. But yet then, when it comes to the defense of this country, that's the time they know Black people as American citizens. That's the time they know Black people have right in this country. But when it comes to the protection, when it comes to being human towards Black people become colonized people. Now, this is what exactly Black code or slave code look like. The Black code, for those of you who don't know, and for those of you who know, also means if a white man offends a Black man, that white man will never be charged. If a white man even kill a Black man, that white man will go scot-free. That's the Black code. And many things within that Black code. Now, what are we saying here? The language of the court, the language of the police, the language of the lawmakers, whether liberal or conservative, the language of the the language of the Black laborer, and the language of the Black conservative, they are all the same. Nothing. Now, this may shock you. The Black laborer are not there to fight for the interests of African people or Black people in this country. The Black conservatives are not there to fight for the interests of African or Black people in this country. They are all fighting for the interests of the white conservative or the white liberal, or the liberal or the conservative. Now, we will explain some of that. For example, right? Somebody last year or year before, what happened when a white conservative reporter or journalist came out and told LeBron James, shut up and shoot the ball, right? And people went crazy, right? Now, there is no difference between that and also for a Negro laborer to call those NBA players to tell them to just go ahead with the season and end the season. No different. Maybe the only difference there is the word, the tone within how they express how things should be done. Now, the conservatives don't have a tongue. They speak their mind. They speak what they want to say. On the other hand, the laborer, especially the black laborer, are the most fearful people in this country or on planet Earth for black people to be afraid of. Again, the black laborer are the people, are the cause of black people being continuously oppressed. So the black laborer came out when the NBA players went on strike due to the subsequent or due to the recent event of Jacob Blake, that they went on strike for things to be done. The Negro laborer went in and killed that movement that should have brought justice, or maybe could be the end or a main focus of policy change in this country. But the Negro laborer went in to say, no, hold a minute. Continue with the season and let the season end. Now, when the season ends, then what? When the season ends, then what? So you see how the Negro laborer are the problem. The Negro laborer infiltrates black movement, black grassroots organization. The Negro laborer are not in favor of our struggle. I'm telling you. When have they ever come out to speak against the issue we face in this country, or black people face in this country? The last time I checked, it was the same Negro laborer that called black people thought when they were still in office. When black people got on the street to protest, to voice out their situation in this country, it was the same Negro laborer that called African or black people thought, looter, go and find job. So what is the difference? What will be the difference if a conservative come out to say, shut up and shoot the ball, or or go back to Africa, or you are a thought? They all use the same language. The only thing here is the conservative made us to know that they care less to do about us. But the laborer, the white laborer and the black laborer or the Negro laborer, are that they so care, are that they understand our situation. And indeed, they do understand our situation. But they don't care. It's one thing to understand somebody's struggle. It's one thing to understand what people are going through. And it's another thing to ally with them to solve their situation or to solve their problem. The Negro laborer understand what we go through, or understand what African or black people go through in this country, but they care less to do with that. Do you think Obama going to be part of a grassroots movement? Don't think about it. Because the last time I checked, it was the same Obama that said, when it comes to the issue of black people in this country or African people in this country, America does not work that way. When it comes to giving black people justice or African people justice in this country, America does not work that way. America don't create policy that way. And the last time I checked, it was the same Kamala Harris. When she was interviewed, she said, if black people think she's going to get in power for them, they shouldn't think that way. They should get it off the table. And it was the same Barack Obama that said, he's not the leader or president for black America, but he's president for America, the United States. But when it came to policy maker or making of other area pertaining to other people, he was actively involved in signing bills and putting act into place. But when it came to black people, all we got was, we have a black person in power that looked like us. That was the only justice we received, mostly. So folks, this thing we in, these people don't care. All pride don't care. Because they all want to be part, they all want to be out there. None of these people are going to come to a grassroots movement. They are there to kill the movement. Now the NBA player going back to work, right? If those players should have been on strike or should have gone on strike, the team was going to lose money, or the team owner, the commercial, you name the rest. But they was able to phone the Negro laborer, the Negro, and tell him, look, tell your people to get back to work. The slave, the plantation, right? Tell your people to get back to the counting plantation right now. That's why you are in a position. So get them to get back to work before we descend on you right now. And the Negro laborer have a way where they are very convincing. Go there, call you and convince you to get there. And the Negro conservative, on the other hand, they are not in a struggle for black people, but they speak the truth. They come out to say, look, listen, the Negro laborer don't like you. The Negro laborer are the cause of your struggle. The Negro laborer are the cause you are not getting justice. The Negro laborer are the cause you are being oppressed. It is true. They're not lying. But not because they are saying that means that they are speaking in our interest, for our interest. They are also speaking for the interest of the white conservative. They are not really speaking our interests. So why should black people always come out to protest for so long before they can get some justice? Is that a norm in this country for black people to keep marching? Even Dr. King marched peacefully, but at the end of the day, they still assassinated him when he began to realize that it wasn't really going to work. And what the Negro laborer do here is, each time things that they happen, they bring out Dr. King video to try to convince black people. And after we get convinced, then we go right back, we sit down. Let me say this to you, black people in this country, my brothers and sisters. It is better. It is better we know what is going on, how people think about us, so that we can find solution, so that we can mobilize, so that we can unite. Like what the white conservative and the black or the Negro conservative are doing, making us aware of how white America, of how the United States government, of how the system in this country think about black people in this country, and I will make us to wake up and unify, even with our differences. The Negro laborer, on the other hand, are very dangerous. They are the one that is being divisive. They are the one that are bringing division among us. They pretend that they are in a struggle with us, but they are not. The last time we checked on Obama administration, there was still police brutality. And in response to protesters, he called them thought. He called them looter. And he said he's not the president for Black America. Glad that he said it. And the same lady, again, now, this is not a video campaigning for Donald Trump. We don't care. We don't care. It's not a video for that, but we're trying to educate our people here. We're trying to make our people aware that people shouldn't come to you to blindfold you, to mislead you. They don't care. Both parties don't care about the struggle Black people go through in this country. They don't care. Joe Biden win, I will tell you, it will still be the same. Police will still kill African people in this country. You will not still be free. We will still be internally colonized. And they will still tell us to shut up and shoot the ball. They will still tell us to shut up and catch the ball. They will still tell us to shut up and run with the ball. They will still tell us to shut up and make touchdown. But let me say this in closing. America, I am not a prophet, nothing. But let me say this to you. You still have time. Do not let Black America turn his or her back from you. You like it, take this video. You don't like it, don't take it. But sooner or later, you will play this video over and over and over and over and over again and again. Do not let the Black man turn their back from you in this country. The ramification, you will not like it. If the Black men turn their back from you in this country, you will lose everything. I mean everything. You will lose it here, and you will lose it here and on the African continent. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted. Do not let the Black man to say, I am tired today, tomorrow, and forever, and they turn their back to you. It will be a wall that you will not see through. You will be like in the wilderness. You will be done. Just how a former French president said, without Africa, France will be a third world country. I'm not saying when Black people turn their back, you'll be a third world country. It will even be worse than that. Do not let Black America turn their back from you. You will not like it. And sooner or later, it's coming. They are getting tired, or we are getting tired. You want to stay blessed? You want to stay blessed? Do you want to stay blessed and still have your position in the world as you are? Do not let the Black man turn their back from you. The Black man is not asking for revenge. The Black man is just asking for equality, just how you treat other people in this country. And to my African brothers and sisters, do not let the laborer, the Negro laborer, come to you and say voting is the solution. Do not take it. For example, Black people in this country have more voters than Indian, than Chinese. But ask yourself, why the Chinese community are well settled and equipped? Why there are no Chinese or police brutality against Chinese people or police brutality against Indian people? Because you cannot touch a Chinese man in this country. A Chinese man can be an American citizen, but he's still an Indian, a Chinese in China. You touch any of their citizen, the Chinese government will come from you. You touch any Indian citizen, the Indian government will come for you, and you will be held accountable in America. So African people, if we want to see the same thing, Let us unite. Union is success. Let us put our differences aside and come together. Let us organize. It doesn't matter whether you are born here or not born here. We are the same. When I get out there, they don't see me as African. They see me as African American. Just how they see you. Just how they identify you, that's how they identify me. So it is about time that we come together. It is about time that we put our differences aside and wake up for this beast. Yet unite. Unity is the answer. Yet mobilize for the cause. And put our differences aside. And think that you are not African. Before you are American, you are African. And before they can even call you American, they say what? African before American. African before American. That is so black American, African American. So why are you distancing yourself? Why are you running away? It is time for us to come together. Join this organization and any organization. Join a mobilization. Join a union. Join the movement and yet fight together. This is not about fighting this, doing that, doing this, and fighting one another. Like the Negro conservative and the Negro laborer. They fight one another for the interest of just one person. The same race, the same people. So, the Negro laborer, the Negro conservative, they are not in the fight with us. Don't get it twisted. They are out, and they've been out. So please, brothers and sisters, it is time to unify. Let us organize. As Kwame Ture said, organize, organize, organize.
The Justice Bank. So what is the Justice Bank? I've talked before about the fact that we were trying to do a bail project, but we ended up deciding to do a mutual aid fund. The Justice Bank initiative will essentially take members, and if you would pay a very low monthly membership fee. We're going to keep it low on purpose because we are servicing a people who are the most disenfranchised in this country, the most under attack, and it's not reasonable to expect that there's that someone could pay $30 a month, $50 a month, whenever you are of that group. Now, when you become a member, we're going to have a trial period, maybe say after 3 or 6 months, whatever, you are eligible to petition us for help with your expenses. Now, what type of people who are targeted from the prison industrial complex, what type of people would be eligible? Well, because we're doing a mutual aid society, that would be democratic. What we mean is that if you are a member of the Justice Bank, you would have a say in what types of, let's say, charges or offenses that you want to be covered under the Justice Bank. The idea is that all of us are putting our money in collectively because we are a target of the prison industrial complex. Every single day that we walk out, you as a black person, you are seen as a criminal in this country, and that is a fact. And we want to offer a type of protection for our people. And almost like an insurance policy, honestly. That if you do have some type of run-in with the law, if you do have a charge, a criminal charge, that you can count on a mutual aid society to help you and assist you with those types of charges.
Nowhere in the world incarcerates as much as we do. We've seen extremely high rates of exposure to the criminal justice system for African American men with very low levels of schooling. So if we think about black men who were born in the late 1970s and who are growing up through the American prison boom of the 1980s and the 1990s, the chances that they're going to serve time in state or federal prison if they dropped out of high school is about 70%. So going to prison for that group of black men with very low levels of schooling, that's become a normal life event. And that's really only happened in the last 10 years. We're at this point now where there's about 1.2 million African American children with a parent who's incarcerated. That's about 1 in 9.